Hi guys, let's talk about food prep. This is an important topic. I have tried to record this video about 15 times, so I'm just gonna roll with it. Pardon me if I stutter or cough or forget what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna roll with it this time. Food prep stresses people out. Let me just go ahead and tell you, don't let it. I hopefully will give you some really good tips and ideas in this video so that you can approach it optimistically and just tackle it. It is probably the biggest key to your success in this program. And if you are prepared, you will not fall off the wagon. You will not, give into your temptations, which we're going to talk about that later in the week, about getting rid of your temptations in the fridge and the pantry. That's important, but meal prep, if you're not prepping foods, if you're not going to the grocery store and buying healthy foods and getting them ready and planning out what you're going to be eating, it's really hard to be successful. So this is very important. I will go ahead and tell you, there's no right or wrong way to prep. I'm going to tell you what I do and how I approach it and what works for me, but there are other people who approach it differently. When I first started this program, I was told, go prep food on Sundays. And so I'm a rule follower, so I was like, okay, well, I got to do it on Sundays. Sunday didn't work for me, and it was completely stressing me out that every Sunday I was just trying to rush to the grocery store, and it just wasn't working. And then it just occurred to me, well, why don't I just do it Monday morning? So during the school year, I prep on Monday mornings. I take my kids to school, I then go to the grocery store, come home, and do what I can. Now that it's summertime, I am approaching it a little bit differently. I am doing basically 2 mini preps per week because what I've found is that I'm falling apart on weekends even more now that it's summer. And since summer is just like one big, long, wonderful weekend, you really are going to have to set yourself up for success at this point. So nowadays I'm doing 2 mini preps, either on Monday or Tuesday, and then Thursday or Friday. So, again, find what works for you. I will tell you that the more you do this program, it's going to get easier. This first week, it's going to take you longer at the grocery store. It's going to take you longer once you get home. But just know, stick with it. I know a couple of people, will post, oh gosh, it took me hours. I'm like, stick with it. I promise you, it does not take me hours now. It didn't take me hours, my second or third week of the program. It really does become second nature eventually. And it gets easier, you get faster, you start knowing what you like. I made the mistake of basically just taking the eating plan guide to the grocery store with me that first time, and I just looked through the list and I bought the things on the list that I liked. I did not go with a plan. I didn't go with like an idea of what I might want to eat for the week or anything like that. I just went through and literally if I liked it, I bought it. I would not recommend you do that. So go with a plan, go with a shopping list. And the biggest advice that I can give to you is to keep it simple. I'm going to repeat that over and over and over again because I just don't want anybody to get stressed out by this. It doesn't have to be stressful. I think what happens is a lot of times people sign up for this and then they go to Pinterest and they start a 21-day fix board. Guys, just don't do it. Stay away from Pinterest. It's only going to stress you out, okay? I'm going to tell you almost everything you need to know in this video, and then you have your challenge pack and you have this group that you can post questions just stay away from Pinterest. If you feel like you need to pin something, go look for shake recipes, but do not go looking for meal prep or planning or recipes or anything like that in Pinterest right now. Again, keep it simple, and what I mean by keeping it simple is I typically have the same thing for breakfast every single day and almost the same thing for lunch every single day. For instance, this morning I went ahead and I have made a crustless quiche. That'll last me for 4 days, and then I'll do another mini prep at the end of the week and either do another quiche with different vegetables or I'll do a salad with some protein and different vegetables. Luckily, I'm a very picky eater and this whole simple thing works for me. If you need more variety, there are many ways to still keep it simple yet get variety. So just know that that's what I recommend, is just keeping it simple, especially if you are first starting out your first round, or if you're recommitting, or even if you're on your 3rd or 4th round and last round wasn't that great. I really recommend just going back to keeping it simple. You don't want to stress yourself out. So once a month, I go to Costco and I get some big staples. Like I get Greek yogurt. I probably get like 4 of these. and that'll last me for the month. If for some reason you don't like Greek yogurt, tell me and I have some tips. I did not like it. I was just going to suffer through the 21 days and eat it for breakfast every now and then never ever eat it again because I just thought it was gross. I didn't like the texture, didn't like the flavor, I couldn't make it taste good. Even I was experimenting with different kinds of fruit to add on top, and it just wasn't working for me. So if you're like that, let us know, and I have some tips, and some other people have things that they add to it that they can tell you. So every single morning I have Greek yogurt. It's a great source of protein, and it's really cheap if you get it at like Costco or Sam's. I have a little bit of granola on top, and then I put some fresh blueberries. So granola is something that I prep. It kind of depends on whether or not my husband's eating it. If my husband's eating it, I am making it once a week. But if he isn't, then I can usually get it to last about 2 weeks. I double the recipe, and it'll last me for 2 weeks or so. So you don't have to prep everything every single week, which is nice. So that's typically what I do for breakfast. For my lunches, again, this week I'm having crustless quiche. Then towards the end of the week, I might do a salad with some things. There's also fattoush. I kind of go through these phases, and I was on a really big fattoush kick or whatever for a while. So all of those recipes, they're all going to be in the secret Facebook group in the file section. I am slowly going to be moving them over this week, but it's going to be slow. My kids aren't in camp as much as I would like for them to be, and I have to convert all the recipes to PDF files and then upload them. So it's just a little bit, a few more steps than normal to get them there. So for the week, typically what I do is on Mondays, I go and buy like all my fresh fruits, all my vegetables. I typically buy some chicken, maybe some ground turkey, and I just have it in the fridge ready to go. I always buy carrots and celery and all different kinds of fruit. I always buy frozen fruit for my Shakeologies. I will talk about that in a separate Shakeology video, but it's good to add frozen fruit to your shakes. It's also really good to add spinach to your shakes. I buy tons of spinach every week. So at this point, I have my staples that I get. It's very easy for me to shop. And then for dinners, that's when I experiment. That's when I try new recipes or try or rotate our favorite recipes. It's also great when you can make more of a recipe and then either keep the leftovers for lunch the next day or two, or freeze them and use them in your third or fourth week. That's an option too. What else do I want to tell you about food prep? Oh, let me show you these. Don't want to scare you, but if you think that this is going to be hard for you to do, or maybe stick with it if you think you might be too tempted by, eating out or something. There are people who buy these containers from, you can get them off Amazon, or you might just have some containers like this from takeout or something. But many people go through and make an assembly line and go ahead and see. I mean, I have everything ready to go in my kitchen, so I'm setting myself up for success. I want to make sure that you see just how easy. I keep my food plan guide here. I keep my containers up here, and guys, it's just all ready to go. You've got to set yourself up for success. So what a lot of people do, and I'll post a picture. Y'all remind me to post a picture of this because I do have a visual. So you take 4 or 5 of these, you put them out, you just scoop in some salad, you scoop in, some protein, you scoop in whatever, you get all of your lunches made for the week. You pop a lid on it and you put it in your fridge and it's ready to go. There are people that approach it that way. I don't, but again, there is no right or wrong way to prep. I'm just giving you some options so you know. This is very Pinteresty, but again, if you don't get too crazy and just use the containers and use that, what am I trying to say? If you use that concept of, having lunches ready to go so that you just don't even have to think about it. You can just go to the fridge, pull out one, and eat it. It makes your life so much easier. If you have any questions about any of this, please post below, but just please remember, there's no right or wrong way to prep. Just do it. You just have to find what works for you. I promise it does get easier. It'll get faster. And then my number one rule and bit of advice is just to keep it simple. Remember that there are recipes for you there in the Facebook group. You can ask if you were looking for a specific recipe. One of the reasons why I love people posting their accountability every day is because I'll see somebody post something, I'm like, ooh, what is that? Can I have that recipe? So that's another thing that we get from accountability. It's not just what you would think, but it's also, I love to see what people are eating so that I get ideas for what I can eat, or if I see recipes that I want. So if y'all have any questions, just post below, and know that it does get easier. Keep it simple, and I will see you tomorrow with probably a shake video.